Folks, Joe with Carbon Marine. You guys always get to see the glamorous side of my life as a delivery boy. If you saw my earlier post about my rotor failure, well, it's Saturday. We've got hunting to do. We've got some fishing to do. It's beautiful outside, so no time to take it to the shop. We gotta do it ourselves. So I saved you the boringness of pulling the tire off and jacking it up and all that. Here's the actual damage. The rotor is completely shattered and broken off of the flange hub. This happened at a very high rate of speed. It could have been a whole lot worse. There were some steel fragments that came out of this part here, blew out underneath the truck as I was diving into the emergency lane on I4. Luckily, the caliper assembly, the brake pads, the stuff that matters to the brake system stayed in place. For those that aren't mechanically savvy or aware of how brakes work, it's a hydraulic brake system where when you push the brake pedal, it applies hydraulic pressure to this apparatus, the caliper. Then the caliper squeezes these brake pads, and that's what causes the vehicle to stop. It squeezes this rotor. So when this rotor breaks free, this side of the braking system is no good, not working. So I'm gonna break the caliper off and take this thing apart and get this rotor off. This part's the rotor flange, the caliper. I'm gonna break all that down, get it all apart. I've got new parts in the truck. If all goes to plan, this will take me about an hour, and I'll swap out both sides. You always, whatever work you do the brake system, the right side you always do to the left side. So we'll have this thing back race ready here in about an hour and a half. So stay tuned, this should be interesting. Hey Skid, are you helping me work on the truck? So folks, disc brake systems are pretty simple in design. The scary part is these two bolts are the only two bolts that holds the caliper in place. These two bolts connect the caliper to the upper control arm, and that's where the power gets transferred from the tire to the brake rotor to the caliper to the frame and slows the truck down. So two really important bolts, and they're very hard to get out. So now I'm removing the caliper. I'm gonna push it over here and let it hang. Now we'll take the broken parts off the rotor flange. And now the broken rotor. So what's missing is all of the metal that goes in between that space. That's what blew up and flew out from underneath my truck when I was trying to brake when running in the pack on the unofficial NASCAR Interstate 4 race yesterday. Yeah, it was a little harrowing. A little bit of damage there from some of the metal breaking off, hitting that little dust shield, but that ain't gonna hurt anything. So let's start putting it back together. That's what it's supposed to look like. One piece. When you put a new rotor on, you always put new brake pads on, so I'm gonna go grab the brake pads and start putting those on. So these squeeze here. All right, so we got everything back assembled. So now I'm just gonna tighten everything up and remount the wheel. There's our new brake pads. There's our new rotor. Notice it's complete, not broken and pieces missing. And we make really sure that those only two bolts that hold the caliper to the control arm assembly are very tight. So there and there. Put a little corrosion X on them so they're easier to get off next time. All right, now we put the wheel back on, tire and wheel back on, and lower this side, go to the other side, do it.